Woo, I'm another year older. Hooray. Right, moving on. This week's episode of Doctor Who. Last week's. I'm behind. Very behind on all the videos I want to do during this month. Anyway, I've only got 7 things to say about Knock Knock. Who's there? It's a joke. I've made this joke before as well. It's like the episode. Tame. I feel like I'm making this point every week. The episode was very tame. Though the characters basically all killed off during the episode. The episode ended and they were all still alive. Why? And I'm talking like the protagonists, not the antagonists. No. This is wholly for the ones that are completely forgettable. Except for Harry, which brings me on to point 2. Harry. Did you guys get that clever bit where he referenced the fact that his granddad was Harry who travelled with the Fourth Doctor? No? Me neither. If they hadn't have said anything online beforehand, it would have just been Harry. He would have just been a character in a plot that nobody needed to know who he was. He's just Harry. And it's there was no reference at all to the fact that it was Harry Sullivan, grandson to Harry Sullivan. It's just stupid, isn't it? Probably wasn't even Sullivan. We don't know what side of the family that Harry was on, so doesn't matter. So the third thing is that the house was old and creaky and lightning bolts coming from the sky and it was all very Scooby-Doo haunted house, wasn't it? It was all so very cliched. Very, very, very cliched. And to top it all off, God, it was the landlord, the guy who owned the creepy house, who was behind it. Of course it was. It's a cliche. It's the world's biggest cliche. I've not seen an episode as cliched as this. I don't know when the last time was. It was that long ago. It's probably Hyde. It's probably Hyde with the old spooky house with the lightning, and it's just history repeating itself, isn't it? Episode 4 of Series 7 had a creaky old house. Episode 4 of Series 10 has a creepy old house. Oh well. Up until the point where all of the characters except for the antagonists were killed off, the story did have a sense of threat. When the first one, Pavel, oh my god, I remembered someone other than Harry. When Pavel it was revealed he was just stuck in the wall, all like woodied, and that was creepy. That was good creepy. And then the landlord appears and walks over and is just like, let's just take him off the music. Gone. It was like, okay, you've just killed him. You're obviously very bad. Why? I'm just gonna go. And they did. They ran for it. So yeah, that was a good point of the episode. The climax to this story, with the reveal of the wooden person, was, I mean, it was an interesting twist that she was actually the landlord's mother as opposed to his daughter, but ultimately it was underwhelming. She's the reason the episode was tame, really, because she set everything back to rights except for except for the landlord and, you know, good old-fashioned reset boot face. I don't know where that went. That said, my next point is David Suchet, who was excellent in this episode. He was one of the few redeeming factors about this episode. David Suchet really brought the landlord to life. And I don't mean he acted him, he became the landlord. He was this sort of bit creepy guy who owned a house that he was charging very low rent on. Why was he charging very low rent? Because he was evil. Whoop whoop. But I feel that he went through all of the stages of emotion during this episode. Literally, there was sinister, there was kindly, there was a little, weird, and then there was good old-fashioned emotion. At the climax of the episode, where he embraced his mum before he died, it was a very moving scene. So, good, very good. Top marks for David Suchet, and also top marks for Peter Capaldi, who was excellent in this episode. I felt he did the episode justice, and he was very doctory in this episode, working things out as he went along, being there when he wasn't meant to be. It was good fun with him. It was intriguing, and it was definitely Capaldi. Only I know what that means, and I'm not even sure I know. Meanwhile, in the background, you sort of got Pearl's Bill, who once again was just sort of there. It could have easily have been the Doctor versus the landlord, and we all wanted the landlord to be a Time Lord, but obviously not, because that would be too obvious. Like Missy being the Master, for instance. So lastly, what's in that damn vault? Well, I don't know. Okay, I know what's in the vault. Okay, I've got to hand it to you. I know exactly what's in the vault. There's piano in the vault. You didn't see that coming, did you? I feel I should just do a Capaldi impression just to finish this review off. Is that Chinese food? I love Chinese food. Theory, what's in the vault? Missy, probably. Or a monk. Who knows? Can't wait for the monk episode, it's going to be good. Speaking of good episodes, next week's one, which is actually tomorrow, which depending on when this is uploaded might be today. Oops. Oxygen. Oxygen looks like an absolutely fantastic episode. Writer Jamie Mathewson is one of my favourites. Wrote some of my favourite episodes. Like that one on the Orient Express with the mummy. Mummy on the Orient Express. Why did I pull that apart that way? Okay, Flatline. Those are the only two we're going to talk about because the other one's just not worth it. So I'm excited for Oxygen because it looks like a really good episode. So stay tuned for another wacky way of saying I've got 7 things to say about an episode. And I think this is 7 things. I lost track after, I think, 3. Let's just stop.